Hey there nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and welcome to Way of the Underhive, your ultimate guide to Games Workshop's gritty and immersive skirmish game, Necromunda. Whether you're brand new to the dark depths of Hive Primus or a veteran looking to sharpen your skills, this series is your go-to resource for mastering all aspects of the game. From gang warfare to campaign strategies, we've got you covered. And on today's episode, we'll discuss playing a Saar gang in the hellish depths of Hive Secundus. This video will actually contain 4 different lists for each of the 4 different types of gangs that you can play in the Hive Secundus campaign setting. I'll give you a 1,000 credit Archeotech Hunter Allegiance list, a 1,000 Malstrain Allegiance list, a 1,400 credit Malstrain Corrupted gang list, as well as a 1,000 credit Secundan Incursion gang list as well. And we'll talk about exactly what will be included in each one of those lists as we go through the video. And because the video will be a bit more of a deeper dive, I will put timestamps in the description box down below so that we can click and navigate to part of the video that interests you the most. So that being said, let's talk about playing Saar in the hellish depths of Hive Secundus. Alright, so let's go and talk about the playstyle on this one. So I kind of made a pretty balanced gameplay between both shooting as well as close quarters battle for the campaign. The reason why that's the case is because Saar are notorious for being excellent shooters in the gang. They may not be able to have as much firepower as the Ironhead Squad Prospectors, but they're certainly more accurate than the Ironhead Squad Prospectors. So because a lot of shooting is going to be really important for you to be dominant in the gameplay. At the same time, we also do a lot of shooting for CQB, which stands for close quarters battle, which means you're shooting between 6 to 12 inches in range as well. At the same time, I also included an Abyssal Ferryman team in order to shore up any weaknesses in your gang's list for those who are playing as Archeotech Hunters or as a Secundan Incursion gang, so you can use those as well. This is a more of a smaller, more elite strike force type of gang, and the reason why is because of the credit limit that's been put on this gang as well. So because I had to really kind of maximize the things that we could do with this gang, and because of that, you'll be able to be dominant at all shooting distances from short, medium to long range. You'll be able to cover it all and to shoot your opponents to death. So that being said, let's talk about your list known as the Neon Dragons. So this gang in this video I'm calling the Neon Dragons. They are an Archeotech Hunters gang rated at 1,000 credits starting roster. You get 1,000 credits to create your gang, as well as an Abyssal Ferryman team allegiance to help your gang survive in the first 2/3 of the campaign. So that being said, let's talk about exactly what's going to be included in your Archeotech Hunter gang. So up first is your leader. This is Elite Stallone is his name. He is a prime to cast 265 credits. This guy's got an armored body glove as well as a combat pistol. It's going to have a combination between a last pistol and a plasma gun. Now this is kind of an interesting kind of weapon. Let's talk about this combat pistol real quick. So on the surface it seems like it's a last pistol plasma pistol combo, but it's not a plasma pistol. It's a plasma gun, which means that your plasma portion of your combat pistol actually has rapid fire on it. So I was looking at the rules for this. I was like, why is the cost so much for this thing if it's supposed to be just a normal plasma pistol? When I looked at the reference charts, because it's not a plasma pistol, it's a rapid fire plasma gun with everything that it includes as well. You just can't do the maximum charges all, but still quite deadly and a longer range attached to as well. So it's a great combination of weapon to use in close combat as well as for long range shooting. We're also giving your character a high star pattern energy shield they can use in close combat. They can also use to protect themselves or being shot at as well. And we're giving this character the commanding presence skill, so that way it's a larger group activation because of the number of fighters that you have. Like I said before, being able to shoot at long ranges is going to be very important for you, so being able to do that with all your fighters being activated to do so could be really helpful for you. After that, you have an Archeotech. Her name is Laser Noir is the name of the character. It's going to cost 155 credits. This is the actual champion that's actually the Master Cyber Technica. He doesn't do group activations, but that's okay though. And the reason why is because of the way we've equipped this guy. This guy's got an armored body glove right off the bat for that 6-up armor save. He's also got Ravage. We're giving this guy paired last subcarbines. Now the reason why we're doing that is because you can use the last subcarbines in close combat as well as for short range shooting. They also both have rapid fire, so this guy could potentially put out 6 shots with that. We're giving this guy an alpha level ocular cyber technica implant, which basically gives him photo goggles and infrasight so that we can see in all of his building conditions. And we're giving this guy the gadgeteer ability so that way you can increase the rapid fire abilities of your twin paired last subcarbines. So this guy's going to be putting out a lot of short range fire. Also really good in close combat as well. Now to help maximize your ability to survive in their hells, we're going to take a bunch of tech hunters for this gang, which is great because they are House Saar exclusive. The first one's going to be your time vault. It's going to be your tech hunters, going to cost 105 credits, and this guy's going to be a biotechnist. Now the reason why the biotechnist is great is because they can take the medical treatment post action, which means they can perform medical escort missions for your fighters and doesn't cost any credits in order to do so, which would be a great way to keep your fighters alive, basically doing medical escort missions as well. Now they have an armored body gloves that gives you a 6-up armor save, also gives you immunity to Ravage. We're giving this guy a last subcarbine as a self-defense weapon, so that way he's got a strength 3 rapid fire weapon. It's also laser as well, which is kind of nice. And we're also giving this guy a servo medicate ability as well. And the reason why that's a great ability too is because that way if you're the 1 inch of a fighter, you can do a medicate special rule, which basically is a basic action. And what that does allows you to make an injury die for that character instead of actually have to wait to the end phase, which can be really helpful in order to help keep your guys in the fight longer and actually have them do stuff. Now the great thing about this, of course, is that does not stop that fighter from making recovery tests in the end phase as well if they're still seriously injured. So it kind of gives you 2 chances to get the guy out of it and back on his feet again with a flesh wound. After that, your second tech hunter is going to be Night Hopper. This guy is going to cost 130 credits. He's going to be your gun tech as well. Now, the gun tech is also a unique fighter for your Vansar gangs, and we basically have what's called the Fabricate Weapon ability, what that means that fighter can make an intelligence test, and if it's passed, then a fighter from this gang may be equipped with a weapon from their equipment list that costs no more than 25 credits for free. So this would be a great way for you to get more weapons for your gang, especially since, you know, rarity values will be such a huge problem in the Underhills. The best thing about this, of course, is that you can take that weapon, put it in your stash, and then equip it to any fighter that you want to later on. Now we're giving this guy a long last, which is a great long range shooting attack with strength 4, which is a great weapon by itself. Unfortunately, he doesn't have access to infrasights with his list, so unfortunately, we won't be able to take that with him into the Underhills. So we have to do the next best thing by giving him photo goggles so that we can see in all visibility conditions and still be able to shoot within range. Alright, your next tech hunter is a character named July High Score. This could be your Technomat. And the Technomat, of course, is great because they have what's called Fabricate War Gear special rule, which basically means that the fighter makes an intelligence test, and if the test is passed, then the fighter in their game may be equipped with an item of war gear from their equipment list that costs no more than 25 credits for free. So this is another great way to get you things that you might need, things like hotshot last packs, for example, or any other kind of war gear that you might want for your gang. And at the same time, you get it absolutely for free, and you can put it in your stash if you want to, and then use it to equip one of your other fighters later on. Now this character does have an armored body glove, which is going to be kind of giving him a 6-up armor save with immunity to Radphage, which is nice. And we're giving this guy a rad gun. Now a rad gun is a template-based weapon, so it automatically hits his targets. It basically acts as a flamer with Radphage, which is quite nice. You can take a lot of flesh wounds off your enemies. The only problem is only strength 2, but you're really taking it for the flesh wound ability that it actually has, so that way your enemies are easier to wound using their last guns. I would highly suggest equipping this guy with the combination weapon, which is a combination of flamer and man-catcher later on, especially when you get enough credits. And then we have Midnight High, which is one of your Neo-Techs. It's going to cost 85 credits. This character's got an armored body glove, as well as a last subcarbine, so they can use it for shooting as well as close combat, and they're running around on a grab cutter. Now the very last one we're going to have for this gang, of course, is going to be your Neo-Tech Raging VHS. He's going to cost you 75 credits. He's got an armored body glove as well as a last pistol as well as a grab cutter. My suggestion to you is, as soon as possible, is to equip both of your fighters with photon flash grenades as soon as you can. And the reason why that's the case is because those photon flash grenades are a perfect pairing with the Neo-Techs. They can zip around the battlefield, lob those photon flash grenades, take away enemy activations. That way they're sitting duck for your opponents to basically take out and to shoot to pieces as you want to. Now with that being said, because this is an Archeotech Hunter gang, you will get access to an Abyssal Ferryman team. Now when it comes to the Enclave, it's really up to you what your preferred playing method is. I mean, you can be a hunter or explorer if you want to, it's up to you. However, I think that the Tinkerer will actually be the best one for you guys to use because of that War Chest ability, which means you're able to add D6 times 5 credits worth of weapons and war gear to the gang stash from your equipment list. So up to 30 credits worth of stuff. I mean, there's a bunch of little nitnoid things that you want to be able to get for your gang. Things like last pistols, focusing crystals, all kinds of stuff. But, you know, you just don't want to spend the credits on it necessarily because you want to save it for something else. Well, the Tinker ability would be great for Vansar gangs because Vansar gangs are notoriously known for using small little weapons and war gear to help them become more dominant on the tabletop. So I think a Tinker Enclave would actually be the best one for you. But like I said before, I left it kind of open to you to decide what you want. Now, on this particular list, we have Lucan the Blood Prince. He's going to be your ferryman skipper. He's going to have 5-inch wound allowance, 3+ weapon skill, 4+ ballistic skill, 4 strength, 3 toughness, 2 wounds, 4 initiative, 2 attacks, 8 leadership, 5 cool, 6 willpower, as well as 6 intelligence. He's equipped with mesh armor for 5 armor save, as well as a chain glaive, because chain glaives are great close combat weapons. He's also got a last pistol with a hotshot last pack, so that we have a strength 4 shooting attack. He's also got a refractor field, giving him a 5-up ward save that you can use to protect himself, and he's also got the bulging bicep skill, so that way you can use both the chain glaive and the last pistol together in combination in close combat. Plus that chain glaive with that 2-inch versatile attack is just all kinds of awesome. The last 2 members of your Abyssal Ferryman team is Gavin Locke. He's a Ferryman rig hand with a 4-inch wound allowance, 4+ weapon skill, 5+ pistol skills. He's got 5 strength, 4 toughness, 3 wounds, 6 initiative, 2 attacks, 10 leadership, 6 cool, 7 willpower, as well as 9 intelligence. So this is basically like your Ogren level fighter. He's got flak armor for 6 of armor save, as well as a chain axe, because that way he's also got parry, and chain axes are awesome. He's also got a whip attack too, so that way he can whip at a 2-inch versatile range and still engage targets at a distance. He's also got a stub gun for backup shooting attack, a refractor field for 5 ward save, and he's also got the headbutt skill because it's an automatic free attack whenever you engage in close combat, and at strength 5 you want a free close combat attack. And the very last one is going to be the Hollow Duke, which is your ferryman steersman. He's got a stub gun as well as a heavy foot, so that way he gets the extra D3 inches whenever he charges at an enemy or rams them with his vehicle. He's also got a custom rig that's tracked locomotion to deal with difficult terrain. He's also got a crash cage as well as transport cage to protect your crew as well as your fighters. A redundant drive system and engine shell, just in case those two systems take a non-glancing hit. He's got a long last, so that we have long-range shooting attack at strength 4, as well as a grenade launcher for frag and crack grenades. Frag grenades for that 3-inch blast template. Crack grenades against high toughness targets or enemy vehicles. And that's going to make up your Archeotech Hunter list for the Neon Dragons. Alright, so let's talk about your Malstrain Allegiance list. Now this one's for those of you guys who want to be the evil or inhabitants of Hive Secundus, but you're not exactly Malstrain corrupted, you're just a normal gang in the depths of that area. Now you get 1,400 credits to create your list, 1,000 credits for your starting roster, as well as additional 400 credits for your vehicles as well. So let's go out and talk about exactly what that's going to be including in this group, because your gang is a little bit different than the other one before. So once again, your leader, Elise Stallone, makes a reappearance again, equipped exactly the same way. You're going to use exactly the same way we talked about earlier with your Archeotech Hunter list. But this time, though, we have an augment champion added to your list. This character's name is Mega Fury 89. His augment is going to cost you 165 credits. This guy's going to be armed with an armored body glove, as well as got a plasma pistol and a last pistol with fast shots. That way he can fire twice with both his last pistol as well as his plasma pistol. You can use this in short range to also medium range shooting, as well as close combat. My suggestion to you is upgrade his last pistol to Hot Shot Last Pack as soon as possible, and get this guy the gunfighter skill, especially if you don't have to worry about that using that 2 guns blazing special rule. Laser Noir also makes a comeback again for this list, as well with his Archeotech at 155 credits, equipped exactly the same way. My suggestion to you is, as the campaign develops, get this guy a spider rig, so that we can use it in close combat if you want to as well. Time Volt, your Tech Hunter at 105 credits. Your Biotechnist also makes a return as well. Could be equipped exactly the same way as the previous list. Night Hopper as well as July High Score also come back as well, so your Tech Hunter Gun Tech and your Tech Hunter Technomac are back exactly the same way with the exact same equipment, doing exactly the same thing as the previous list. Now, this is where things get a little bit different when it comes to your actual Neotechs this time around. We're going to actually have access to more Neotechs this time around, and the reason why is because this time around you actually have additional credits that you can use in order to support your fighters this time around. You're going to have 2 additional Neotechs, Raging VHS as well as Midnight High. They're going to both cost 110 credits apiece. Both have armored body suits, body gloves, as well as shock staves, as well as photon flash grenades. So they don't have shooting attacks this time in terms of last pistols or last carbines. They do have shock staves so that we can use that ride-by ability on their grav cutters to attack their enemies, but they also have photon flash grenades as their primary offense weapon, so that way they can stun people and take away the group activations. You're going to have 2 more Neotechs on top of that, named Cobra Hawkins and Victor Vector. They're both equipped exactly the same at 90 credits apiece. Both will have armored body gloves, last pistols, photon flash grenades, and grav cutters. So these guys have your shorter range shooting with last pistols, but they also are packing photon grenades, so that way you can still, once again, take away your enemy activations and cause problems. And the reason why we're able to get these fighters because we get 400 credits to spend on characters that are mounted, and based on the Vaults of Temenos special rule, those grav cutters now count as mounted fighters. So because of that, means you can get more Neotechs for your gang, which would be all kinds of awesome. Alright, so list number 3, Neon Dragons. This time we're talking about the Secundan Incursion gang. So it's a 1,000 credit starting roster, and this time around though, instead of having a traditional Prime Beer leader, you get to take a Spire Hunter instead, which is all kinds of cool. So let's go and talk about exactly what this list will consist of. So this time your leader is Correa Aymir Ulanti. She is a Yelled Spire Hunter at 255 credits. This is the one that can fly. She's got a Yelled Hunting Rig, so you also got paired Yelled Missile Gauntlets, so you got that long range shooting with that high strength for attack. She's also got Yelled Wings, so she can fly around and use them in close combat as well. She's also got Photo Goggles, that way she can see in all visibility conditions, and the skill we're giving her is Gunslinger, so that way she doesn't suffer that -1 hit against by firing those 2 Yelled Missile Gauntlets. She's also got reflex enhancers. She's also got Master of the Hunt, Kill Count, and Spire Hunting Rig glitches special rules as well. At the same time, Mega Fury 89 makes a return, but this time though he's going to be a Tech Hunter this time around. He's going to cost 115 credits. This guy's going to be your Augur Tech this time. And the reason why we're taking the Augur Tech is not so much that we can use the data crystals, but so much that you can kind of act as a secondary champion for your gang. We're giving him an armored body glove as well as a last gun for shooting, but we're giving him a Vox array so that we can do a larger group activation, kind of like a champion. Unfortunately, in order to fit this fighter, your Yelled Spire Hunter into this gang, we had to take away your champions for the most part, and we kind of replace with just normal tech hunters because, you know, they take up a lot of credits. Alright, so Time Vault, the Biotechnist, as well as Night Hopper, the Gun Tech, they both make a return as well, equipped exactly the same way as before, doing exactly the same job in the previous lists. Alright, so up next is July High Score. It's going to be your Technomat with Armored Body Glove as well as Rad Gun, doing exactly the same thing as before on the other lists. And then we have Midnight Hive, so it's going to be one of your Neotechs. It's going to cost 125 credits. This guy's got a Last Sub Carbine as well as a Shock Stave and Photon Flash Grenades. Could be rocking around, attacking people in close combat, throwing those Photon Flash Grenades to take away enemy activations. And your very last fighter is going to be Raging VHS, another Neotech at 100 credits. It's got the Armored Body Glove, Last Sub Carbine for shooting attacks as well as close combat, Photon Flash Grenades to take away ready markers as well as a Grav Cutter. And once again, for your Abyssal Ferryman team, is equipped exactly the same way as the previous list with Luke and the Blood Prince. He's going to be equipped exactly the same way, doing exactly the same thing for your gang. Gavin Locke, the Ferryman Rig Hand, also makes a return, equipped exactly the same way. Same thing with the Hollow Duke, which is your Ferryman Steersman, equipped exactly the same way as well. And like I mentioned before, I think the Tinker Enclave would actually do the most good for you with this list, just because Saar typically like using weapon accessories and stuff to make their weapons even deadlier. Alright, so the very last list we're going to talk about is your Malstrain Corrupted Gang. So this is going to be guys that actually have Malstrain Gene Stealers in your gangs. Once again, it's going to be rated at 1,400 starting credits. So let's go on and talk about the Malstrain Corrupted Neon Dragons. Alright, so once again, your character Lee Stallone makes a comeback this time around, so he is back with the gang as well. So he's equipped exactly the same way with the exact same rules as before. Same thing with Mega Fury 89, your Augment. So be equipped exactly the same way with Fast Shot and everything, just like it was in the Malstrain Allegiance list. Once again, Time Vault as well as Night Hopper, they make an appearance once again, equipped exactly the same way in the previous lists, perform the exact same roles as they did in the list prior to this one. Same with July High Score, your Technomat, he comes back as well. Same thing with Midnight High, still packing his Photon Flash Grenades as well as his Shock Stave and Grav Cutter this time around. So Raging VHS also makes a comeback this time with a Shock Stave as well as Photon Flash Grenades. Cobra Hawkins also makes a return from the Malstrain Allegiance list as well with their Last Pistol as well as their Photon Flash Grenades riding their Grav Cutter. Victor Vector also arrives as well at 90 credits, another Neotech with an Armored Body Glove, Last Pistol, Photon Flash Grenades, and your Grav Cutter. But this time around though, we're spending the last 155 credits on your list to make the Colors Out of Space, which is a Malstrain Coalescence fighter this time. It's got flak armor as well as feeder tendrils, so that way it has those deadly versatile attacks. And it's going to be able to fly, so it can travel freely alongside your Neotechs. It's got the Shadow of the Malstrain as well as Xenos Abomination as well as the Catalyst psychic ability, which means your fighters can do one basic fight or shoot action before they go to action should it happen to them later on. At the same time, this kind of gives you a little good balance between shooting as well as close combat, as well as a little bit of psychic ability to deal with, because psychers are now a thing that's going to be prevalent really on the tabletops now. So having something that can do that is going to make you really competitive, especially if you're going to the Underhills. Alright, so there you guys have it. This is the list that I would recommend for your gangs of Necromunda and the Underhells and Hive Secundus with your Saar gang. Now this gang is a smaller gang, but there's a lot of room for it to grow. You can do a lot of cool things with it. You can also develop it quite nicely with some additional weapons and equipment of your choice as well. And of course, you can always tailor this game to kind of match your play style as you proceed to the Underhells as well. And just as always, I will make more videos on all the gangs that come for the current setting, and I do mean all of them. I'm making Hive Secundus videos for all the core gangs, all the extended gangs, all the Ashways gangs. Same thing with all the Outcast gangs for both Merchant Guild gangs, Outlaw Criminal Syndicate gangs, as well as Noble House gangs. So I'll be making quite a few of these to take your adventures to the Underhells as well. And if you guys end up using this list, please let me know. Tell me how it performs for you guys in your campaigns and on the tabletop. I'd love to hear exactly how this list works out for you. And if you guys have any suggestions for other lists, please put it down in the comments box down below. And if I like your idea, I will make your video for you and give you credit at the exact same time. So there you guys have it. That's good for this one. I am Commander Chiefskate. It's been real. It's been fun. I'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.